Hi, Councilperson Ervin.
Hey, hello, everybody.
Hey, good evening. How's everyone?
Councilperson Ervin.
Good
to see you.
Good to see everyone.
Hey, good evening.
Hello,
Hey, how's everything?
How you doing, Madam Clerk?
I'm good. How are you?
Good to see you. All right, I was just telling good old Kyle over there at Full Moon that we don't need the American flag, the U.S. flag, until the second meeting because this is a town hall. So, see Mr. Kirk. You know, it's the first debate tonight, so we'll see how many people we get. I think Councilperson Ervin, when you, I, and Councilperson Roman, or Vice Chair Roman, we put this together. We didn't think about the first debate night. We were just trying to get it done because it needs to be done because we got the Cavisa stuff coming up. So we were like, we have to get it out of the way. But I was looking, and now everywhere I look, it's like the first debate. What to look for in the first debate? What to expect for the first? I was like, oh Lord, let's see how many people we get tonight. Let's try to get them in an hour before they get mad at us.
We'll be right on time. We'll be in good shape.
Tomorrow's the mayoral debate in Miami-Dade County, so we got.
Yes, that is right. And tomorrow's the mayoral. I got that invite. I got that invite to the Zoom. I got the Zoom link. So for that one, tomorrow's the mayoral debate. Yep, absolutely, for the county. I gotta watch that.
These are all for like these are all for the 3 undecided voters, right?
Exactly. I think everybody pretty much has their mind made up now, right?
Pretty much.
Undecided.
All right, I think we should go ahead and just kind of like get started, you guys. I'm assuming that the there's no problem. I just think that people just might be busy tonight and preparing for that debate parties maybe and things like that. Plus, of course, you know, our governor opened up Florida, so hey, you can just party up. So
You don't have to stay home and watch.
who knows what type of debate parties people are out and loose. All right, you guys. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. As I said, this is a town hall, so we didn't need the U.S. flag for this one. Councilperson Perrella, good to see you. We didn't need the U.S. flag for this one. We will have it for the administration and finance, which we'll do the pledge and things like that. I'm going to turn it right over to Manager Alou.
Thank you. Thank you for calling the town hall, Vice Mayor Nickerson. This is a long time. We first introduced the idea, or well, not first, I'm sure it came long before this, but in January, our code enforcement officer introduced an item that requested that the fees be increased for the building permitting through our code enforcement committee, chaired by Councilperson Erbaum, who was amenable to it and said, we can do this, but we need a town hall meeting. It kind of fell by the wayside. We went through coronavirus, pandemic, shutdowns, and here our new building official has brought this back to the forefront in coming in because he's been with us about 2 months now, and just seeing everything that's happening in the building department has called for us to address these building fees that have not been increased since 1984. So he did a kind of a review for all of us, went through that at our last Administration and Finance Committee meeting, and promised to provide something to the members of the council, which we did over last week for review. And here we are today to just hear about his suggestions and recommendations for the increase in the fees. I think it's important that we really consider these increases. It will fortify the department, which has been called to task, especially during this time of pandemic. As we are changing, the village is changing, and we want things to progress and just look the way we want it to look in the village of El Portal, to keep that standard, but also to have that quality that is so imperative to this community. So I ask that you seriously consider these increases, and I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Margin, who is our building official, who did the analysis and provided that information to you all based on other municipalities and what the trends are presently. So Mr. Jean.
Okay, thank you, Village Manager Lou. I did a comparison, compared it to our neighbors, Miami Shores Village, Indian Creek, and City of Miami Springs. I believe everyone have a copy of the comparison, and I know it's kind of long, and I hope I can answer or clarify any questions you may have.
Let me ask very quickly, if I may, Mr. Jean. What do you prefer? Would you prefer that as you're doing this, as you're going through the information, if anybody has any questions, they ask you right then and there while it's in their mind? Or would you prefer that we try to remember those questions and wait till the end?
You guys can stop me anytime, so that way we could capture the question and it doesn't escape from us.
Okay, just wanted to clarify. Thank you.
Yeah, and it'll help the conversation as well too. Mm-hmm. All right, so thank you. So
go ahead.
Yes.
Mr. Jean, I was just going to suggest maybe you go through some of the more basic building permit fees, what we are charging, and then go through what some of the other municipalities are charging.
Okay, perfect.
That way, just basic. You don't have to go into so many details, but if you can just talk on some of the bigger items, and then especially something for new development, as we are seeing that happening in the village in the next month or so.
Okay, perfect. All right, so we can turn the last sheets, a couple of sheets on. And sorry, I haven't had the page numbers on there, but the one that's beginning with, it has the totals, beginning with the technology fees. I think it's 4 pages from the back, the 4th page in from the back. It goes through, it starts off with a technology fee. Everyone could find that.
Madam Manager, if you have that in front of you, can you email it maybe to Kyle or if you want to pull it up yourself, I'm not sure, so we could.
Okay, actually, did I email it to you, Kyle? Maybe I did. I thought I did last week, but let me try to do that right now. If I didn't, I'm just going to bring it to him right now. So
Or
go.
if Mr. G, if you have it in front of you,
You can share the
I'm
screen.
not sure. Do you want to share your screen and pull it
Okay.
up?
Okay.
Because you know what pages you're going to, so to make more sense than if Kyle tries to follow you. You
Okay.
can share your screen and pull it up, and then so everybody can see what you're looking at.
Okay, let me try to share the screen here. Okay, it would be page 11 in the Excel PDF. Now, help me with the sharing the screen. I would go to share screen here.
Yes, at the bottom in the green, it should be a share screen button.
Screen number 2. Okay, I hope everyone can see. Can everyone see?
Yeah, kind of. I mean, you can make it a little bit bigger if you can, maybe.
Okay.
Just the yeah.
Okay, perfect. So I'm here. Okay, so I took for example, a $2 million commercial project just for a good example, and we see here I found out that Miami Shores charges a technology fee. And as well, also Miami City of Miami Springs, and this is for they state that this is for training and also upkeep of equipment or any software. And I felt that the village can use that because we kind of have a ongoing issue with we have hard copy records still in our possession, and in the future it would be a good idea to digitize those plans so that way they're in the cloud somewhere in the event that a hurricane happens and God forbid a window gets blown out and those plans become damaged. So I thought that the technology fee would be good to implement. Now we see that Miami Shores, it goes up for this $2 million. They're charging $1,249.60. Miami Springs charges 10% of the building permit fee. Now I couldn't get that value because the building permit fee has some other calculations involved, the way City of Miami Springs calculate that. So it would took a long time to actually get a handle of that value. And we don't charge, currently we're not charging any fees. So on the next line here is an application fee that they charge here. Let me see here. Miami Shores charges, let me just do that calculation. It comes up to 10,000, but with that application fee, some department uses as an upfront fee, whereas an applicant upon submitting plans, this would be almost like a non-refundable fee that would be in the end would be credited towards their final bill. So it's almost like I should say, I don't know, collateral would be a good word. Basically, when someone submits a project of, and it could be a certain size where it has to be reviewed by multiple disciplines, basically it avoids or kind of stops the applicant from coming back and saying that I don't want to move forward with this, and basically walking away with not paying some type of fee for the reviewers that actually already put in the work to review the plans. So, and we charge a non-refundable fee of $25. So across the board, there's Dade County surcharge fees, DCA fees that are consistent for the county. So those are the same. And I'm going to, any questions on this page? These are kind of the initial fees, then I'll get out. The next page should jump into the meat of the building fees. Any questions on these fees here? Okay, now we're going to the next page, page 12. Okay, actually I'm going to the next page, 13. This is the DBPR fee, the Department of Business and Professional Regulation, which is basically the same. Is a certain percentage goes to the state for, I guess, license activity, miscellaneous license-related items, just for the upkeep, I guess, of this department.
Yeah, we have a hand up in the audience. Kyle, if we could bring over Mr. Kirk, please.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. I'm looking at this for the first time because we haven't seen any of this before. Will these same numbers apply to homeowners, et cetera? Is that the way it is set up, or is the stuff from Miami Springs or Indian Creek only above certain values? For example, if somebody wanted to do a $10,000 bathroom remodel, would they similarly be expected to pay these sorts of flat fees? Thank you.
Well, thank you for that question. The fees are based on the percentage of work. Now, the $25 in the previous sheet here.
I'm sorry, if I can, I'm sorry. And just to clarify, this is we're going over this is purely this is all commercial. It's not residential.
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
Thank you. That helps.
Commercial properties.
Percentage, yeah. But yeah, it would a commercial would be at a different percentage than residential, but it would still be a percentage base. So this magnitude of the technology fee is based on the percentage. If I also provided basically an in-depth breakdown of Miami Springs fee schedule, and it tells the exact way they generated that fee. So that technology fee is not a flat fee per se; it's a percentage of the permit. And our fee of well, we don't have a technology fee, but if this would be proposed and accepted, it would be a percentage of the permit. So the larger the job, of course it's equivalent. It's
I think what confused me is we see one fee in the application fee as a calculated number off of the 2 million, and the others appear in what I'm seeing. And again, I don't have any other information aside from what's being shown on screen. The others appear to be flat fees. And so that's, I guess, part of my question.
Okay.
Having never seen this before.
Okay. So, for example, reference Miami Shores. For example, it says here in the section 6-7 of the Miami Shores Village Code of Ordinance. It says technology fee. All permit fees for new construction, alterations, or addition shall be accompanied by a payment of a technology fee of 2.5% of the permit fee. So the permit fee would be, including the trades. You have a mechanical structure, mechanical, plumbing, electrical, and I think that would be about it. And of course your building fee, which is the structure. So it's based on a percentage, but I went ahead and calculated out to be that, and it says also all fees are collected pursuant hereto shall be set aside to offset cost of computer system purchase or technology expenditures within the building department. So that's kind of how that fee gets calculated based on the percentage of the permit. Now this only captures, I was able just to calculate the building portion of that. Keep in mind, as you'll see, the different trades I'm not able to capture that because I don't know what the cost of each trade would be. So that it's just best based on what the building fee would be. So it's a percentage-based generated number. I hope I was able to answer a question there.
Right. Well, again, this is the first time I'm seeing any of this. So if you're assuming that people in the audience know what you're talking about, aside from the council members, as a town hall, we don't, or at least I don't. So anything you're showing is something I have to read in real time,
Okay.
digest, and ask questions. And that's why, this was, it appeared to be flat fees versus the Miami Shores Village, which had a calculation.
Yeah.
And I thank you, Councilperson Perella, for clarifying this only applies to commercial, not residential. That was very helpful.
Okay. Now let me go back. It said this fee would apply to new construction, alteration, or addition. So which captures basically both commercial and residential. So let me correct myself. That this particular fee would capture both residential and commercial. So just to clarify.
I mean, the technology fee.
The technology fee, yes.
Okay. Okay, which at the beginning, the first page, it says, all permits or no construction, alteration, additional should be accomplished with a payment of technology fee of 2.5% of the permit fee. Exactly, so, okay.
Yes. So
The
that
first page.
Yeah, but when you go into building, it goes into, either if it's commercial building or residential. So it goes more, it's a little different. But this technology would be based on the.
Oh, exactly. So Miami Shores charges 2.5%, and you suggesting us to charge 2%.
Well, let me see.
Technology fee based on $1 million or $500,000 construction. So it's whether it's a residential
Yeah,
or commercial.
Yes, I'm doing 2%.
Right.
All right. Now, any other questions regarding the this page? And then the application fee as well would be, I'm proposing a percentage as well, $25 plus 0.5% of the job value. Now, it'd be, in a let's say a residential remodel, I guess it would be between 40,000, 50,000 worth of work. So it's not, it's close to $1 million. So it's the percentage basically it's easy to calculate versus how some fee schedules are kind of tiered. So the percentage seems easy to calculate for anyone looking at it. You don't need to get your algebra book out to kind of crank out a fee. So that's why I'm looking for simplification as well. All right. And the page 12 just goes into the DBPR. I'm gonna pull up page 13. Now, what we charge in terms of the building portion of it for this one here. Let me check something here. Yeah, the bottom of the summary has the comparison across the board for the different trades, but the building portion for El Portal is would be $1,090. And let me see here, electrical, mechanical, and plumbing / gas permit fee evaluation would need to be done by takeoffs. So the way our fee schedule is currently done, it basically counts what items are being done. Like if you have an electrical a permit, you know, it counts the number of outlets. Let's say if you have plumbing, it'll count fixtures. So it's a little more detail in terms of it actually. You're doing a counting process to basically you're accounting for the number of items within your project. So it's a little more involved. And what I'm proposing is a percentage of the job cost per trade. It makes it a little easier versus, you know, counting, you know, number of receptacles or different electrical components you may have in your project. So, and Indian Creek here had a 80,000. And now this is not calculating electrical, plumbing, gas, and mechanical. And on the last sheet has a better comparison across the board, side by side of what each item would tally up to be. The last page here. So we see here for the building portion for Miami Shores, and this the reason why it's misaligned because when I was setting this up, I'm trying to compare apples to apples across the board, but the way some the fee schedules for different municipalities have it set up in different categories, so that's why I kind of it's kind of not misaligned like that with the first one there. So Miami Shores, the building portion is 60,000. Miami Springs is 80,000, and my Indian Creek would be, Indian Creek, I have it on the second page. Actually, sorry, page 13 of 80,000. So these kind of would go in the same line as these. And again, these are not taken up. These values do not take into account plumbing sub-permit, mechanical sub-permit, electrical sub-permit that needs to go along with these here. And this is excluding other components, landscaping, you know, that possibly might need a permit. Then the next component goes to if let's say some project, depending what it is, it has a structural some structural components in it, or structural plans that are being presented. So those are need additional time to ensure that the project is safely being presented for approval. So those would be also add additional costs aside from the other trades. Now, Miami Shores has for 4 hours $480. City of Miami Springs has $150, and we charge just for engineering services, which may include sidewalk or any driveways that deals with more civil, not structural engineering discipline, of $60. And also for we charge an additional $110 per trade. So in summary, Miami Shores, this permit for a $2 million commercial would be $62,480 for the building permit, excluding, you know, plumbing, mechanical, electrical, state surcharges, impact, and zoning fees. So that would be just the kind of the building only was $62,480. Miami Springs would charge $80,000 and $150. and Indian Creek would be 80,000. And we would charge for the same fee for the same job amount would be 40,615. Now with the plan review fees that we see above, that includes the trades, excluding any other additions from the takeoffs. So a full permit here in Village of El Portal is only 40,615, excluding the surcharges. So we're kind of looking at it's kind of not a shortfall, but almost at a very low permit fee versus what other municipalities charges. And these fees, looking through the code, they were last updated in terms of the building building permit portion in 1984. So it's we all have experience throughout with time that, of course, cost of construction goes up and just prices in general goes up because of inflation. But since these were not captured, I mean, there's a lag in prices, which affects the building department funds for the building department to just either to get an extra clerk to help out, in terms of another code enforcement if the need comes about in the future with a large scale project coming about and more areas being built up in El Portal. So we're kind of to the point of that in the future the building department may outgrow itself, I should say, with the developments that are happening. So this is why I'm proposing the fees, basically to capture the increase of expenditures that the building department is facing and will be facing in the future.
Okay, so I'm sorry, I have a question. And
Yeah.
so you're suggesting that that $40,000 to increase those 40,000?
Yeah, at least, increase.
Okay.
Increase. And I have a council person. I have starting with page. Let me go back to page 1. It kind of goes up more like in depth.
Detail, right.
Detail of how what the village currently has, which is what the village currently has, and what I'm proposing. So, and it compares it to Miami Shores and Miami Springs here. And I went 2%. I went a little less. Of course, Miami Shores is a little bigger than us. And has the other amenities that we don't have. So just kind of to be fair, kind of brought it down a little bit to basically considering residents and all that to make it something basically affordable for the residents. And it goes with the the application fee, which 25 plus 0.5% of job value, but not less than 125. So towards the end of the job, you'll pay only less than $25. That's a non-refund. Well, I shouldn't say non-refundable, but you'll get the portion you paid here less 25 towards your balance of your permit fee.
Right.
And the surcharges would be the same. These are what's currently being paid. The DCA is currently what's being paid now. So those stay the same unless the county changes their rates or the state changes their rates on these items. Let's go to the second. This is the second page here.
Which is still a lot, I'm sorry, which 125 still a lot lower than any other municipalities, because if you take it a $10,000 job, it's still 125, right?
Okay.
Or plus the 0.5%.
Yeah. Like, so you say you got $10,000 job?
Yes.
0.5% divided by 100. So yeah, that would be 50 plus the 25, but we'll stay with the 125 as the minimum because we need.
So we're still a lot less than of the other
Yeah.
municipalities, which is 200 for Miami Shores and $300 for it's Miami Springs, and and $500 Indian Creek.
Yeah.
So it's a lot less than those municipalities, about $125,
Yes.
like almost half, or more than half.
Mhm.
And so, I added here a refund policy. Our refund policy was a little kind of relaxed. Well, didn't really capture, like, let's say if a plan basically runs through and, someone comes back and say they don't want to do this anymore, basically, there's been some instances where, minimum was charged versus, what the work, the manpower that took to, conduct the reviews. And so just want to kind of, basically with the refund policy, retain a certain percentage because work was indeed done on that permit. And here for for all permits, there'll be a minimum of 125 for permits versus Indian Creek has it at 100. Let me see. Miami Springs has it as 125, and Miami Shores has it as at 100. So that's what I was proposing. Then it goes into breaking down the different building permits. If you have remodeling, alterations, additions, general repairs would be charged based on the percentage of work. Including basically when that job value is presented, and there's some instances where people present like a no number, and if that happens, then they need to bring make sure that we need to have a signed contract, and also if still the signed contract is low, then we'll may ask for probably 2 other contracts just to gauge the first one. So it's all based on a job cost versus more complicated way of getting the permit fee. So I felt that the percentage base is easy to read, easy to generate versus some other tiered system that goes from, let's say, 0 to 100,000 is a certain price, 100,000 to 500,000 is a certain price. So this makes it easier, the percentage base. And the percentage base is exactly from Miami Shores. So I think this is our current, what's currently being, our current fee schedule, the first 100 for estimated cost or fraction thereof. So from the first 100, I believe, let me see. Let me look at our, this would be remodel. Okay, yeah. It says here, alterations to buildings and other structures, including sheet metal work with separate installation not covered by prior permit. So it says first $100 of estimated cost or fraction thereof is 100. From 101 to 1,000, it's estimated cost of $30 or fraction thereof. For each additional 1,000 of estimated cost or fraction thereof is 100. So it's basically for the first $100, it would be 100. Then for between 101 and 1,000 would be 30. Then above that would be increments of $10 until I guess you meet the job cost. This is on page. This is probably the second page of the appendix to chapter 5 permit fee schedule, our current permit fee schedule. So the percentage is easy, basically. The applicant or anyone can figure what the gauge what the permit price would be with percentage versus a tiered system, So and these fees are exactly what Miami Shores are charging currently. Do anyone have questions regarding this sheet here? Any questions? So we go down here to building fees here. This is kind of where I kind of compared apples to apples here. So this is kind of what we charge here for repairs. There's another section here that says repairs to buildings in our section. So our section kind of have a lot of subsections with different fees. And what I'm proposing here,
Make that a little bit bigger, Mr. G?
yes.
Yeah, perfect, thank you.
Okay. So this would be what I'm proposing for new construction. Instead of having the tiered system here, it's basically a percentage of 3% of job costs. And it would be for electrical, plumbing, mechanical. The Miami Shores, I observed what they had for, I think they had certain, they had like two sections that had like up to 3.5. And probably the reason why probably those type of work jobs might be more involved when it comes to those percentages. That's the one that's the way I figured the increase of those percentage might be more items involved with those trades. And this is kind of overall to Miami Springs is charging equivalent of 3%, even 3 cents on the dollar, 3%, minimum 125. This is what Miami Shores is proposing. It's 3% across the board. Let's go to any questions. And feel free to stop me if you guys have any questions there. And this is going into, okay, new building, new construction here. I don't know if we saw that already. We might have seen this here, but again, this is new construction. Also, what we didn't have before is a flood plan, plan review fee. With the Cavisa being that it's close to the Biscayne, it's in a flood area, zone AE, versus here on this side, majority of the older El Portal is a non-flood zone. So we're gonna have to deal with a flood review, which we don't typically have in our reviews, but being that it's, it's on the other side, closer to Biscayne, so I guess the elevations are a little different that propose a flood zone section. So this would have to be incorporated somehow to have someone review flood for projects that's close to the Biscayne area.
Now, let me ask you, in there, I see that Miami Shores has at $60 an hour, and you proposing 120. Is that Miami Shores, like, are those numbers recent? They reviewed those numbers recently, or do you know, or is it something that?
Well, okay, for the flood review, let me see the flood. The flood, let me see, Miami Shores has $60 minimum, but I don't know how much they would go to.
What is it, an hour?
Yeah, minimum, minimum, but now the structural engineering fee, they go to 120 an hour. That's, to structural, yeah. So, and this is the City of Miami Springs, let's say, charge a non-refundable fee of 100. Shall be added to the upfront fee on residential and 150 for commercial. So they don't have an hourly charge But, and again, those are proposed fees. So El Portal, we have something that, and I'm sorry, this section is cut off, but something that addresses engineering services. So we interpret it as, if something is involving civil work or engineering work, where someone has to look at it more in detail versus a building plan reviewer, a charge would be assessed currently in our fee schedule currently. And the next one here, let's see here. Now this is a double fee, refinement of the double fee, where if someone does work without a permit, there'll be a certain penalty that would be assessed when they come in and apply for the obtain their permit. There'll be like a penalty fee for doing work without a permit. Before we had it, let me see here. We had it, I don't know, it was a little, I mean, it's kind of wordy here. It says, let me see, when work for which a permit is required is commenced prior to obtaining a permit, the fee as specified herein will be double. But in the event such double fee be less than 100, the second offense, the fee would be double plus 100. Third offense, the fee would be double plus 250. The fourth and subsequent offense, fee shall increase accordingly. So I guess it goes as a trend. So I kind of wanted to kind of avoid the wordiness and make it more streamlined, because typically when you go for a permit, you want to make it very clear and easy to follow. I'm always trying to find ways to kind of simplify the process. So that makes basically encourage people to pull a permit. And some areas in our current code got kind of wordy, and it makes the applicant feel that they're trying to figure out how to these fees would be assessed. And with what I'm proposing is just a double fee plus 100, and in the event the applicant pays less than 130, the second offense by same contractor, it would be double the permit fee plus 200. So the payment of the fee shall not relieve any person, firm, or corporation from fully complying with all the requirements of the code, nor shall it relieve the. So this is kind of just additional wording, but just kind of make it a little more simpler. And this is exactly what I'm extracting from Miami Shores. This is the same kind of wording I'm extracting from Miami Shores here. So inspection fees. Currently in our code, and I should, let me see here. There's not an inspection fee, but there's a re-inspection fee that's currently in our code. But here the inspection fee would be if there's let's say a courtesy inspection, or even an instance where we have a large project going on that they need let's say after hours inspection. So it would be at a certain rate. Here Miami Shores charges what, 75, and after hours weekends would be 125, minimum of 3 hours. So our current fee didn't address anything, involving overtime inspection fees. So I went ahead to basically put that component into the new code. So there might be instances where you have a store that has to be operational during the day, but they may have working inside during the night, and let's say they need an inspection before the store opens up at 6 a.m. to have an inspector to go out there at that time to accommodate the applicant and the building department would charge accordingly for those fees. So currently we do not have anything that addresses like a general inspection fee. So that's what I'm proposing in the code now. And some certain things I find out, when it gets to the different disciplines, basically are outdated. Some I think it addresses when the village had the different type of construction, like the trailer park and this different construction that's now basically obsolete or no longer exists. So I kind of went through that just to kind of update the type of construction now that the village has. And the next one is the reinspection fee, where let's say inspection is called out, a section is requested, but let's say if the permit card is not present, or let's say the contractor didn't address the issue, then there'll be a penalty for having the inspector to go out again. So this would be the fee. And if there's an instance where, for the third time, the qualifier still didn't address the fee, then there'll be a charge for going out for the third time. So that kind of to encourage the contractor kind of make sure, before he calls for inspection, that he has all his ducks in a row, and to avoid, I guess, a prolonged project. Anyone has questions to these fees? I hope they're not putting anyone to sleep. Also, there's a loss plan review, where let me see here, where if someone needs a copy of the plans again, let's say here, let's see. So this is kind of like a recertification again of the plans. Let's say if someone lost a complete set of drawings, then we would issue from our records another set to them at a particular charge. So here I compared it to, we don't have anything in place for loss plan, but the closest I could compare it to is almost like a revision fee. The other municipalities had I couldn't find anything on that. Miami Shores had a loss plan fee of this amount, which I copied directly. And also changed to plans after permit is issued. In other words, a revision. We had a certain percentage, and Miami Shores had basically a charge per review time of $40. Major change would be $90 per hour. So if spent an hour, then it would be charged accordingly. If let's say if they bring in, let's say they revise all the sheets, then it would be that time would be captured and translated into a fee. So that's kind of what I'm proposing here, exactly what Miami Shores has here. The next one is a permit card fee, which 25 could remain the same. I just kind of simplified it. Instead of all this wording, just simplified it to a permit card replacement of $25. And Miami Shores has $26.50. And renewal of permit. We didn't have, we didn't have any current, in terms of current, the direct, how do you call it, direct fees that addresses renewal. We kind of took that out of like interpretation. Our current code would kind of interpret it to be a certain fee, but currently we don't have something set in stone in terms of renewal, permit renewal. So I pulled off what Miami Shores has, and just to make it more concrete in terms of renewal. You know, it would go 6 months. Within 6 months would be 50%. Outside of the 6 months would be 50% of the permit fee, meaning the base permit fee, excluding surcharges. And outside the 6 months, or if your permit has expired for over 6 months, it would be 100% of the permit fee. And this is
Can we bring Warner Dre over, please?
yeah.
Thank you. We have a question from the audience.
Yes, hello?
I think he's connecting right now. Give him a second.
Okay,
All
okay.
right, thank you.
Yes, good evening, everybody. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, good evening.
Yes, state my name and my address as always. Warner Dreyer, 486 Northeast 87th Street. So no, thanks very much for looking into this whole review of the, you know, the fees. One question that I had, it's related to turnaround times. If you know, if we residents are expecting a difference, right, in fees, right, is there also an expectation on turnaround times of when, you know, each specific request we were to submit? And I apologize if you did answer the question before. I kind of joined a few minutes after the call had started. So, but that will be something interesting that I have, right? Turnaround times. How does that change? Thank
Okay, if you know, if we have more to work with, we can get additional permit clerk. Currently, we have one that's, you know, she's answering phones, you know, receiving customers as they come in. So it's kind of basically really not a job for one person to do. And the same clerk would need to pull records, yet you know, answer the phone. So it becomes currently we have a restriction on the service. And I jump in, you know, where I can to kind of supplement her. And also on top of that, you know, we have other things to do, like alarms to issue, and also business tax. So it gets really tough for one person to do. But if we had a little bit more to work with, possibly we can get another permit clerk at one permit clerk, so the task could be, let's say, divided. You know, one person would handle, you know, records retention, records requests, answering phones, and the other one would handle scheduling and inspections, and other tasks, you know, issuing permits. So currently we're kind of restricted on the manpower in the office, I should say. But you know, inspection wise, you know, inspections are just two days a week. So we're kind of restricted on the revenues we have to, you know, work with.
Okay.
So yeah.
So, Gene, just a quick question then. With this introduction of change of fees, would that help suffice this understaffing that we have of manpower, or is that still continue to be a known, I guess, item that needs to be perhaps addressed, right? Once if we increase the fees.
I mean, it would help kind of to capture that expenditure, because you know, once if this fee increase were to be approved, it's something that wouldn't happen overnight. Basically, you know, possibly in the near future, we'd have enough reserve to bring on someone else. and in the actual let's say cost to have an additional person, I don't have that on hand, because you have to add in payroll taxes and other benefit expenses that I don't have a grasp on. But we can look into that definitely to see if an additional person were to come in, how much shortfall we would have or gap. I don't know if Village Manager Lou, if you can shed some light into the question with a gentleman. I don't know if
Yes.
I
Well, I can just state that, yeah, we don't have the hard numbers in terms of what the total expense would be for another staffer in that department. We didn't do that assessment yet, but we know we have a lot of, that staffer has a lot of work on his or her own. So we want to at least be able to provide a salary and just to fortify the department with some things that they will need, including technologies, what have you. And I think the increase of fees is just a start. It's something we should definitely review. And we're doing an assessment as was requested by Councilperson Urban to kind of just look at what permit clerks get in other municipalities and the workload. And so I've been actually meeting with CAP Government, which is our building official and engineering of contract, and we've been reviewing what the job description should be and how it should, that we're overwhelming the person by putting so many tasks on them right now. But we're doing an audit and we'll come up with that new job description and just duties and just better address that as we do more of these meetings. But also, this is an opportunity for the village to really, bring in more revenue with the building fees, because it is time, and with that it could be helpful to fortifying the department in terms of staffing and resources and just equipment as well. So that's why we're looking into it at this point, but we are also assessing just what it will cost and what the duties should be, and then how we may need to bring in a part-timer who would be a file clerk. We've talked about a myriad of things, but we haven't gotten to a point where we are ready to hire and looking for anyone right now, Mr. Dreyer.
Oh, I appreciate it. So if I understand correctly, there's more on, I guess, more on the assessment, whether the additional resources can help suffice with turnaround times, possibly with this upcoming change in fees. So that's where you guys. Okay, awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Before we move on, no, thank you very much, Mr. Dreyer. Appreciate you always. Councilperson Urban had his hand up, so we can let him come in.
Good evening. Mr. Jean, I also imagine that with the simplification of the fee schedule, which has been great to go through, I feel like that would also, as part of the thinking also, that our building clerk would also be able to then more accurately and easily, it's almost a time management issue for them as well, where now things are simplified so that process can be explained to the contractor, the resident, the builder, whoever might be easier. And that alone will expedite the process because it's not just easier for the user to understand, but it's also easier for our staff to implement. Would that be part of the thinking, or?
Yes, correct. Yeah, just to make it more streamlined. That way there's no confusion on,
Right. I think
actually saying,
I think it's great. My one question is actually on the next page, on page 7.
Okay.
And that was with retaining walls and seawalls permit fee. Because of our unique situation here in the village, I'm wondering if we wouldn't consider actually lowering that fee to not discourage residents from perhaps addressing their own seawall issues, since the village does not have any type of the village is not going to be building a seawall anytime soon, but a seawall will probably be needed sometime soon. So if there would be residents who'd be willing to do construction, that perhaps lowering that specific fee might encourage them to do so. I haven't looked at it in depth in terms of to me, this isn't a matter of necessarily what other municipalities are doing because of our very unique situation on this. We don't have a lot of say in what happens upstream from us, for example, but if we did have residents who were willing to take it upon themselves to do some type of seawall construction, I would think maybe a lower fee might encourage that, which in the long run could be a significant benefit to the village if we have residents who thought they might be able to do that themselves, but otherwise wouldn't because of a higher fee. I mean, I don't know what seawall construction is, but I'm guessing if someone said, you know, on a, just say even on a 50-foot section of land, I'm guessing it's gonna get real close to $100,000 on that construction. And so does 3% versus 1.5% make any difference in their decision? I don't know. Others would know better than I, but I'm looking at that thinking, long term, how can we encourage residents to get involved in part of that seawall along the canal there?
Okay, because ultimately, like with seawalls, it would be, I mean, it would help out, but the seawall would be mostly a company that would construct that because of the work that's involved and making sure that support.
Okay. So as their bidders basically they would look at things and say, okay, they have a 3% fee, so they would just build it into their cost in general, and it wouldn't necessarily be something that would affect a decision.
I mean, it would help. It would definitely help on the overall cost, but because usually seawalls, and I don't know I'm not too familiar with you know how with the current seawall conditions there at the canal in terms of, you know,
well, it's lots. I think it's kind of lot to lot. Some lots are in really pretty good shape, and other lots are really in need of quite a bit of help. So I know that there's some lots that are actually losing land to erosion, and then other lots have you know, an older, more firm seawall, as well as neighbors with a more firm seawall, for example. So they're in good shape. So I know it differs quite a bit from lot to lot. So.
Yeah, we could, yeah, because we could look at that. That wouldn't be a problem.
And can I add something about seawall too?
Yes.
We had a new resident asked about seawall because they have one or want to inquire about how to go about improving theirs. It's also a planning and zoning matter. So I want to see what our urban planner also contributes, and so I'll get with Mr. Jean about that, and maybe we, you know, next time we come together for this, we can have something more concrete about seawall, because you're right, Councilperson Urban, we want to encourage people to take care of their seawall and, you know, improve it and make it as nice as they can, but I want to, you know, there may be additional fees and costs associated with that because of that uniqueness to that work that also requires some planning and zoning. And while we're talking about planning and zoning, you know, they too, some of the extra work, just to talk about fees, has been a cost heavy on the village of El Portal, and we have been doing the cost recovery for the past few months for you know, people who have had extra work done, and then Placervia then has charged us more. So that's just another fee that we would have to consider in terms of seawall. And I just wanted you to be aware that, you know, it's also a planning and zoning matter too.
Okay. Thank you. Yeah, you know, again, just, you know, to plead ignorance on it, I just wanted to throw that out there in terms of, because I know a lot of this has to do on comparison of what other people are doing, but just on that one specific item, I think that the village wants to encourage as much as possible residents, you know, taking action with seawall. So just throwing that out there.
Okay, and also, councilperson and village manager Alou, also, I don't know if Durham, with that canal, or if Durham needs to get involved with that as well, because you're going into the waterways. So that's another component. That's another permit by, you know, separate, if that indeed Durham needs to get involved, or South Florida Water Management needs to get involved with that.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. All right. And we had I added after the seawalls in terms of any poles, towers, antennas to that, because I believe the code didn't address any, I don't know, any, let's say, towers or any antennas that might come into play or on top of a building, in the future. So I added something to address that, or even if there's a school with, construction of a flagpole, or even the village itself with the, flagpole, just to kind of bring that into play. And added a temporary trailer fee, the construction trailer. We have a large scale project where they need an office somewhere on site before the building's done. So that's kind of, I added that. And, we have one currently, it says each tie down is 100. I have that kind of twice. Let me refer to the, actually,
Is that 150?
yeah. So I might have doubled up here in terms of the what's being stated here. I believe it says that each tie down is 100. And again, I don't know if this was referring to when the village had the trailer parks. So it says trailer fees, but I'm looking more into construction trailers or portables or some type of temporary structure. And Mine Assures had the 150, so I took that directly from that. The parts I left blank, either I didn't see one that matches up, so I kind of just left it blank. I didn't compare it to that, but and we have also some other fees that basically were not updated. Paint permit, roof paint, fumigation. These are just a 25% increase. Bringing it from 50 to 6250 for those type of fees. And actually, current burglar alarm, I believe we charge 30. So 25% of that would be the proposed. So disregard the 6250 because in our code it states the $50, but currently we charge $30 for an alarm permit. So this is.
Let's bring Mr. Dreyer over again, please.
Yes, hi. Good evening. You guys hear me again?
Yes.
Perfect. Warner Dreyer, 486 Northeast 87th Street. Just had a quick question. Does this also cover any fees associated with business licenses fees? And second question is also regarding, I might have not sure recall which of the previous committee meetings, I think council person Urban requested as far as to look into the whole short-term rental, right, sort of guidance. So just want to see if that's also included here. If not, what's the whole status on that respect too? That would be great.
I give a quick update on the short-term rental guidance. We're essentially working with both legal and Pluserbia to kind of get to a consensus. The idea is that we could have something in writing presented in early November at the Code Enforcement Committee meeting. And then assuming that that language is agreeable, then that could progress then to the Planning and Zoning Committee, I believe, in the same month. And if things went well there, then we would be looking at talking about something to be voted on by November General Council regarding that. So that's the timeline that we're looking at and the strategy. And then in theory, if there are hiccups, we're looking at December General or perhaps into January Committee in general to pass ordinances specifically on short-term rental issues. So I hope that is clear and helps, Mr. Chair.
Yeah, let me just say real quick, Councilperson Erbaum, there won't be any committee meetings in November because it's election.
Right,
So,
okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so depending on what language is ready, then perhaps there'll be a special committee meetings called in December, for example. Early, it'd have to be in the first 2 weeks of December, I would imagine, to then be ready for January confirmation. In theory, maybe December, but yeah, so, okay. So
Yeah,
essentially, the language should be ready by November, though.
okay. Yeah, worst case scenario Q1, right, of 2021.
Yeah.
Awesome. No,
Correct.
appreciate it. Thanks for that update.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I guess the second question was regarding updating the business licensing fees. Is that something, and I'm sorry, I apologize, I never got a copy of the supporting documentation. So I was actually in the previous email distribution somehow that the clerk was sending, but somehow I'm no longer receiving the update. So sorry if I asked that as well. That will be my third question as well, if the process has changed on that. But I'll let Jean answer the question on the business licensing fee. Thank you.
Yeah, no, we're not covering, we're not getting into business tax or, the business licensing, because that's another kind of animal. So this is just the building department permit fees that we're covering this evening.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
You're welcome. You're welcome. The next one here, I think page 8. Any other questions regarding to any other?
We have Councilperson Perrella that wants to ask a question.
Yes, hi, thanks, Vice Mayor. As far, Mr. Jim, as far as the new, construction, because I've seen it, and I've seen it happen, and where the, when they're renovating the house and they're bringing in the, the dumpster and whatever, I've seen where the dumpster people, like the truck, has come to pick up the dumpster and whatever and breaks the sidewalk. Nobody has been paying attention to that. And it's an issue because now we have a few sidewalks that are broken, and now the village has the responsibility to fix them. So it's something that we should do before the permitting is issued. Some kind of like included on the permit that it was inspected and it was fine, and if there's a damage to the sidewalk, has to be repaired.
We can look into I would need village manager Lou probably to chime in, but it can be some sort of a agreement. Probably an inspection could be done beforehand. Then I guess with a couple of photos to go along with that, and at the end of the project, it can be some type of almost like a release type of before the permit's released, the condition of the public area or the right-of-way area, whether it's a swell area that's damaged or torn apart, sidewalks, or even the road itself leading up to the property. That can be something that we can look into, and if there's damages, then
that's actually, if I may, Mr. Jean, yeah, that's actually what it's supposed to be happening now.
Okay. Okay.
We are, the requirement is that everything be restored to its original condition before the construction on the swale and the sidewalks. The release or the final inspection isn't released until any repairs are made for sidewalk cracks, because you're right, those dumpsters usually, make some damage to the swale and to the sidewalk. We've had construction or flippers or what have you, repair sidewalks. Some of them haven't. We also could impose a bond for those construction jobs, and maybe that's something we should impose more. So I think we need to enforce that. I know that some have slipped through the cracks over the last few months because our code enforcement also helps with that. Councilperson Perrella, in terms of just making sure, just eyes on the ground, since we have the inspections only on 2 days, but then, someone comes in, they get this work done and they roll out, but no one's seen that the sidewalk was not repaired. So we'll have to be more diligent in imposing that and possibly institute the bond requirement for construction projects too, especially for dumpsters.
Okay.
Yes, that has to be done because I've seen quite a few. There's like 3 that I know of. So
Yeah, I would add to that and say thank you, Councilperson Perrella, for bringing that up, because it's not just the dumpsters, it's bobcats. I mean, it could even be for, just like a sod company with a bobcat bringing in pallets of sod, for example. Yeah, but in terms of documentation, photographic documentation, I think is what we're aiming for, so that way we can recoup if there is damage done, because it happens all the time, so it's kind of considered, well, whatever, but if it's an opportunity for us to recoup damages, then we need to be on top of it. So thank you, Mr. Rowe.
Okay. All right, thank you. Now, we have on the next one, it goes into to decks, and I tried my best to compare this across with the other 2 code, our current code and Miami Shores had. Mine's, what I'm proposing is reflective of the Miami Shores. It goes into so much square feet of wood decking, and then it goes for gazebos. There's so much based on square footages, and concrete, asphalt, pavers, driveways, certain fees that's reflective of the Miami Shores here. So so in terms of some aspect, when it goes to roofing, we're low in terms of what what currently is being calculated versus what Miami Shores is being presented. So I just wanted to kind of bring that up as well in terms of roofing, the fees. It goes into awnings, sheds, fences. Fences here, it goes, I guess we had before a fraction of 100 linear feet versus this one is a straight $1 per foot charge, minimum $100 charge. I don't know if we have in the future we'll have instances where actually physical building relocation, and sometime I think the cost of $500 is low, depending how extensive the house is. I don't know if there may be in the future a house that needs to be relocated either for, I don't know, historical purposes or for whatever reason. But I placed that in there. We had something that was much lower, so I placed the amount that's reflective of Miami Shores of 500, which I think is it's relocating the entire structure would be a fair cost.
While we're on this page, if I could, I think it's fine that the roofing fees are lower for a similar reason. I wouldn't want residents to consider, out ahead of a hurricane season, for example, well, if a fee was what was holding them up from getting a new roof, then I think in terms of roofing, that's a place where we can be a little bit lax compared to other communities to encourage residents to do that job if it's necessary. I mean, that becomes, if the roof, roof integrity is absolutely everything. As soon as you lose the roof integrity, the house is gone. So in terms of straight winds and hurricanes and such. So I'm Mr. Gina, I just really wanted to say thank you for all the work that you've done with this. I mean, it's just, I'm sure Manager Lou as well. It's been, the work is evident, and just want to say thank you before we get too much further here.
You're welcome. You're welcome, Councilperson. Thank you. Okay, we can, yeah, the roofing, we can look at that, but we still may need to do it fair, you know, where it's not too low, but you know, just something let's say affordable.
I'm just saying I'm okay if we're lower than other communities. It doesn't bother me, is what I'm saying.
Okay. Okay, and I believe the last, I think this is the last one. I'm not sure, maybe because the feast kind of going on and on, you know. And the other thing that we really didn't have one in the current schedule in terms of if we have like large buildings, especially you know the ones coming like large commercial buildings where for heating of water they have boilers, and those boilers would need to be inspected yearly, you know, for safety. So I proposed something in place, you know, similar to what Miami Shores has to kind of basically capture that future construction. I don't know if we currently have boilers now in some areas, but for larger projects, especially residential, commercial residential projects, may have boiler equipment in there that needs to be inspected for safety yearly. And also, you know, backflow preventers, I put that in there similar to what Miami Shores had basically nothing for a periodic inspection, but I placed this here for basically kind of copied what's here before, just to have someone check backflow preventers, you know, whether it's getting a certification from Miami-Dade Fire stating that, you know, backflow preventer for a certain building or something is functional. We have sign permits. Before, our code was kind of, might be a little antiquated in terms of painted signs. I know there's some zoning elements that are involved there, but it kind of tried to update those fees to capture, you know, signs. And temporary platforms, I don't know if we will have this case if there's an event, would added something in there. Demolition kind of took what Miami Shores had to address demolition, demolition fees. I guess this one's demolition of signs, walls, and demolition permit of a building if it needs to be. The last one here is hurricane slash shutter fees. Our fees were, you know, lower in terms of like the unit count. We had up to 6 windows is $100. Each additional is $5. This one is $100 plus $10 each window unit. Again, copying exactly what Miami Shores have. The next one here. Again, I don't know. Yeah, concrete sidewalk. I think we had something else that addressed sidewalk. Storm shutters. We addressed that in the windows. And temporary signs. This one is, I guess what we have is the for sale sign. Basically added a increase to bring it to $75. Also updated the certificate of occupancy to bring it, just increase it just a little bit to kind of bring it more up to date. And we have the bond fee here of the sidewalk that that's in our current code. But I basically didn't basically propose that. What we can do in this area, depending, I don't know if it borders a paved road or something that might be a little costly than just the asphalt. Possibly we can go into a further description on the type of road that it is. I know in the main road, some areas have the pavers that makes up that roundabout. So I know that might be a little costlier than just a regular asphalt if, let's say, that gets damaged. So we can kind of refine this section to address a sidewalk and roads that are become damaged. And I think that's about it for the comparison. So in conclusion, I'll go to my my last page here. This basically, I'm just proposing to increase it to kind of capture, to allow the building department to function a little better with the increase of fees, either to address, additional person. I know with other projects coming on board, and especially with territory that code enforcement is covering, we currently just have one person there that's kind of actively driving around, but the territory is kind of getting larger with new projects on the Biscayne side as well. So that kind of concludes the comparison. I don't know if anyone had additional questions from the comparison. Any thoughts anyone had from the comparison? Yeah, I hope I didn't bore you guys, with the fees there.
It's good information, man. It's good information. It's information that we need to know. We appreciate you putting it together. Really appreciate that. Are there any other things that you would like to add before I ask for any questions from anybody, Mr. Jean, and then I'll go to the village manager.
No, we're just trying to, improve, the building department. I'm trying to, try my best to improve the building department. Every area I can to improve, and this is just one area that I saw that was a shortage, basically, in the function of the building department. I wanted to bring to the public's attention.
Perfect. You did a wonderful job, man. You did a wonderful job. Let me say also that, well, first of all, does anybody from the audience have any questions that they have for Mr. Jean? I'm seeing none. Any other panelists? Anybody? Councilperson Perrella, Councilperson Erbaum, any last questions for Mr. Jean for this town hall, at least? No. All right, Mr. Jean, if you would, could you unshare your screen for me?
Okay, yes. Okay, stop sharing. Okay, yes.
Stop sharing, I appreciate that.
Okay.
I just wanted to do really quickly. I wanted to see if I can bring this up. Where we at? Second. All right, let me share this. Because if people didn't know, if everybody can see that, I'm sure. Can you guys see that pretty good? Is the website up pretty good? You guys can see that? You guys okay? All right, so just for everybody who wants to know, if you're wondering, but a lot of people, may have thought, cause I heard from a couple of people that that we didn't receive, they didn't receive the documents, like what Mr. Jean was going over, the presentation. You guys, every time we're having a meeting or anything like that, you click on meetings and agendas, which I already did, but you come to the El Portal website, you click on meetings, you go down to meetings, agendas, and minutes. I'm not going to click it so it doesn't have to refresh. You go down to meetings, agendas, and minutes, you click this, and then you come down here, you look for the meeting. Now, it'd be nice if it was in order, but if you look at the 2020, we're on the 2020. If you come down, this is September 29th, and this was these meetings. So the town hall is right here. So if you click the agenda on the website for September 29th town hall, which has been there, you guys, it's been there, okay? It's not like it just showed up, it's been there. You click that, and then it takes you to exactly what Mr. Jean was showing us. All right, so it's been there. Okay, so just so everybody knows for the future, when we have meetings or town halls or anything that comes up, you guys have to go to the website. If you're wondering, if it's been released to the public, you can always find it on the website under the meeting that is coming up. Let everybody know this is exactly what it is. So for everybody who hadn't seen it before, it had been there, and it's there, it's going to remain there. But that's that, okay? So make sure you guys go to meetings on the website, down to meeting agenda and agendas and minutes, and then look for whatever meeting, the date of the meeting that's coming up, and you'll click on the agenda, you'll see that there. All right? Okay. For that. Madam Manager, any last words? Oh, hold on 1 second. I see an attendee. Let's bring in Mr. Dreyer real quick. How you doing, Mr. Dreyer?
Good evening, Vice Mayor. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Perfect. Again, my name is Warner Dreyer, 486 Northeast 87th Street. No, so thanks very much, Vice Mayor Nickerson, for walking us through the website and explaining to us there's a new process, right? I think where we're coming from, the residents, is that we were used to receiving, right, email communications. And if the process has changed, that needs to be somehow, right, like you just did right now, which was great. But just
the process hasn't changed. I'm hoping that, going forward, we can get, we can get those emails out to everybody the way we always have done. This is just like a backup. It's just a backup, just a knowledgeable backup. That's all. I want to just point that out,
Awesome. That's the backup. Okay, awesome. Because that's what I wanted to point out that as well. I know that there's a transition going on, but it might have been maybe 2 weeks ago, I actually reached out to you guys asking for the supporting documentation, and actually the mayor, she was very kind enough to actually send it out. But that explains it. It's a backup process. What you explained, we'll continue with having the normal process of the communications via email from the clerk. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Can we please have, thank you very much, Mr. Dreyer, as always. Can we please have Ms. Valencia over, please?
Hello. Sandra Valencia, 8633 Northeast Miami Court. I have a quick question. It is just a general in regards to the permits. I have a neighbor and friend, a dear friend that is ready to get into a big project on their house. And so now that we don't have the building clerk at this time, who will be in charge in regards to who will take the lead in handling all the permits for any sort of project?
We have at this moment a temporary clerk, a building clerk, Cheyenne, that has been there for 2 weeks.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so she's currently taking care of that, and myself as well.
Will she and will she or yourself be available at the village hall? Or is this all like virtually still, although, the things.
Oh, sorry. No, go ahead. I'm sorry, ma'am.
Now, the thing is that as far as I understood from yesterday's decision from our governor, the COVID-19, whatever limitations or whatnot are changing. And so everybody is able to come back to kind of like a normality, going back to the workplace and stuff. So I was just wondering, because I want to help them out, they're ready to start off a big project on their house. And so I'm just trying to figure out, because I'm involved more with the city and trying to get them the right, information for them to be prepared. So are you or the clerk will be available in the next couple of weeks at the city, at the village hall, or do we need to do that everything virtually still?
Well, we are available, and we have the electronic plan submission as well to help out So you don't need to physically submit your plans. You can submit it electronically, but we are physically available as well.
Okay, so in that sense, you will have to just, I mean, my neighbors will have to actually ask for like an appointment to meet you there at the city hall?
Yeah, for
Yeah.
me, appointment, yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
got it. All right. And what is the name of the clerk? Sorry, the interim clerk?
Cheyenne.
Cheyenne.
But if I may, Ms. Valencia, you can reach her by emailing buildingclerk@villageofelportal.org.
Okay, thank you, village manager. Thank you.
Sure.
I appreciate that.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Valencia. I appreciate it. Anybody else from the audience? Any questions? All right, I'm seeing none. Anybody else from the panel? Any questions? No, very good.
I just want to say the beauty of being in a small municipality is that permitting and everything does move a little smoother and faster. I took on my project, the rent on my house took me 6 months. And let me tell you, you know, if you haven't done it in Miami-Dade County or Doral or any other cities, you've been making lines and waiting for long, you know, time to get, you know, inspections and all of that. So even though I did it, it's always been one person or one clerk at the village. Everything was actually very smooth. Maybe it'll be the, you know, the capacity or the knowledge of the village clerk, you know, the building clerk that we had at the time, or, you know, so that's very important. But yes, it's totally, you know, it's an advantage being in a small municipality, yes, in that sense.
Thank you. And also I wanted to add, and I'll try my best. I came on July 1st. You know, there's still other things to improve, and I'm trying my best to kind of address them as, you know, as we go forward. And you know, my goal is always try to make it almost fun to pull a permit, because it's always the best route versus doing it, you know, illegally, you know. So but that's the way I look at it. You know, we try to encourage you to pull a permit because that's, you know, the best way to do it. So you know, going forward, we'll try our best to make it fun and relaxed process. You know, it'll be, you know, even funner than going to a dentist, you know, to come and put in a permit. So hope you know, I can help you in any way. And also, if anyone wants to reach me, they can reach me at mjean@villageofelportal.org. Thank you.
Perfect, thank you, and I appreciate it. And every time I see you, you know, we see each other in the office pretty often in Village Hall, Mr. Jean. We see each other in the office pretty often. We're always having laughs, and we're having fun when I see you. So, you know, you're always a big bundle of laughs. So if anybody can make pulling a permit fun, it's gonna be you.
Thank you. We try.
That being said, you guys, we're going to move on next. After we finish this, we're going to close this town hall. If nobody has anything else to say, and then we'll move on to the Special Administration and Finance Committee meeting. And I have a couple of things to say there, and then we'll do that. But Village Manager, if you wanted to say anything to close this off.
Just that I hope, you know, this isn't too shocking to the system for our residents. We just want to, you know, bring the best service we can to our residents, but also, you know, fortify the department and the people who work there. So we appreciate the opportunity to present this to you all this evening. And we hope that we'll have another opportunity in the coming weeks as we explain again and hopefully get people behind this new wave. So if there are any questions, we can be reached at buildingclerk@villageofelportal.org. Or you can reach out to me, village manager at villageofelportal.org as well. So, you know, we're open and we are taking appointments for people who want to come in. The Village Hall is still, you know, pretty small in the interior offices, and we don't have the 6-foot social distancing available, but we do take appointments and we're pretty open for that. And also we are improving our online capabilities, and the virtual process is allowed for plan submission and application submission as well. So, you know, we're always looking to improve and be the best provider we can to our residents.
Thank you very much, Village Manager. Appreciate it. Martine, you okay? You good? Any last words? You okay?
Yeah, I'm okay. Yeah, I'm
You
okay.
look like you want to jump in and say something real
No,
quick.
no, no, I'm good. I'm good. I wish we could start, handing out permit applications, but I'm good. Thank you.
We appreciate it. Councilperson Corella, Village Clerk, you guys good? Councilperson Urban, go ahead.
I do actually also just want to make sure and say he's not here tonight, but thank you to Officer King as well, Code Enforcement Officer King. So again, Village Manager Lou, and Mr. Jean, thank you guys sincerely. It was very easy to digest. Everything was very clear. And I think that's this is great for the village going forward. So just thank you to everybody for all the hard work.
Thank you.
Absolutely, absolutely. Okay, you guys, with that being said, we're going to bring it into the town hall meeting. If you guys want a break, or you guys want to go right into the administration of finance and try to get it over with? It's like one agenda item, so it should be pretty quick. Let me just get the okay from Full Moon, Kyle and Full Moon on the other side, and then we'll go right into it. It's going to be a committee meeting, so we're going to have to do the pledge and all that, you guys. So. All right, we are good to go. Just got the word, we are good to go. All right, you guys, let's go ahead and begin. Hello, how's everybody doing? Good to see everybody here tonight. We're gonna try to get this done as soon as possible. We know the debate's coming up soon. The virtual Special Administration and Finance Committee meeting for Tuesday, September 29th, 2020 is called to order at, what time is it? 8:44 p.m. All right, thank you very much. Madam Clerk, may I please have, no, we're gonna start a meditation and pledge. So first, let's have the silent meditation, you guys, and then Kyle, if you can bring up the flag, and then we'll do Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much, Madam Clerk. May I please have roll call, please?
Okay. Member Urban,
Here.
Vice Chair Roman, Chair Nickerson.
Here. Thank you very much, Madam Clerk. I appreciate it. Agenda, we only have one item we're going to go over for the agenda itself. May I have a motion to approve the agenda?
I will make a motion to approve the agenda.
Thank you very much. I'll second that motion. All in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. I'm hearing no nays. We don't have any minutes, you guys. Don't have any special presentations. Good and welfare, if anybody wants to say anything right now, if you want to come on and say anything real quick, there will be another chance for that, and we'll have multiple chances for you guys to talk. So this is the first good and welfare. All right, I'm seeing none. Okay, continue to move. All right, so for this agenda item, okay, for the building permit fee adjustment, this is my suggestion, Councilperson Urban. My suggestion is that, because since people got the, we had the presentation just now in the town hall, which was good. Hopefully people can go back and watch that. I think that this item should not be voted on right now to pass the full council, because there wasn't, I don't think, because we didn't do the email blast, as Mr. Dreyer pointed out, for example. So I think we should do the email blast, and I think we should have another special administration and finance committee meeting. I think, like, looking at my schedule, like next Wednesday. So if we email blast all of this to the residents, like tomorrow or Thursday. And we have an administration and finance meeting next Wednesday to where we can vote to move it, because that way it'll give people like a week to, you know, with the email blast, a week to look through it, to, you know, come up with any, you know, disagreements or say it's okay. And you know, if we have it next week and we pass it next week, it's passing to the full council in October, so that gives people even more time. So being that, you know, because raising permit fees and things like that is a big deal. So they, you know, tonight is, some people got to see it tonight. It's being taped tonight. They can go back and watch it, the presentation. Then we have another special administration and finance committee meeting to vote on it. They have from now until then to go over it in detail. They can come back to the administration and finance committee meeting, say, hey, you guys, this, and that. And then even after that, they have another chance, weeks, to go over it even more before it hits the full council. And then we get the, you know, we always get, and then we'll also, you know, the inclusion of, you know, Mayor Cabillos, Councilperson Roman, Councilperson Perrella. I think that should be the way we do it.
I'm on board with that. I think that's a reasonable plan, and I think that gives essentially a full month, you know, 21 days, 3 weeks solid into 4 weeks. So 3 to 4 weeks, I think, is great for input, and 2 chances for essentially the full, the special meeting that you're calling. Will this be strictly a committee meeting in admin and finance, or are we calling a special meeting for the full council?
For this meeting right here, I'm just talking about, it would have to be a special administration and finance, because we would pass that that document through the committee to the full council. So that gives the residents.
So that gives the residents that time, and then it gives full council notice of 2 weeks at least. Yeah. Residents another 2 weeks to deliberate.
Exactly.
I think that's a plan. So you're saying Wednesday, October 7th.
So I'm saying Wednesday, yes, Wednesday, October 7th for that.
I'm in favor of that.
All right, sounds good, sounds good. Appreciate that. If we can, Madam Clerk, will get out the that document. I'll see if I can get it to you tomorrow so we can fully email. Okay, so we can email blast it out to all the residents. So since we had a town hall, so it'll be good if they have that, since we have a town hall. So then maybe they can go back and watch the town hall and have the document in front of them, and there we go. All right, so that'd be good. All right, that being said, there are no resolutions and ordinances. There's no unfinished business general orders. So for new business, so we had a special council meeting that was scheduled, and then I decided to pull it off at the last moment, not because you guys, you know, just for truthful purposes, not because we did anything wrong or anything like that. I just wanted to be, you know, just kind of like what I'm doing the same thing when it comes to this permit fee document. I just wanted to give people as much time as possible to be able to, you know, have it and things like that, and as much time as possible to see it. So there was like a misunderstanding as far as when the agenda for the special council meeting was uploaded to the website. And I wanted to give our residents enough chance to be able to see the agenda and have it there. Now, we received an email. Let's do this. We received an email from former Attorney Powell. Let's do this real quick. Share this. Everybody see my screen? Good? Yeah. You guys can see my screen? Load this up. All right, so I just want to clarify a couple of things here. Says he receives an invitation for the special council meeting. All right, so here we go. So right here, the special council meeting can be called by the mayor or 3 members of the council. Absolutely, that's correct. That's in the charter. And I'll put the charter in a second. All right, so right here where it says section 401 requires that the 3 members of the council, the call of the 3 members of the council prior, he has prior in italics. I have no problem with that, the prior, because everything should happen prior to the scheduling of the meeting, but that's not in the charter. The prior is not in the charter. Also, where it says the call of the council requires a written document, memorandum that polls the council, that is not in the charter. The charter is right here. It's right here. And if you look right here, it just says that the meetings of the council should hold at least 11 scheduled meetings. All right, so for a special meeting, it can be held by the call of 3 members of the council, the mayor or the call of 3 members of the council. There's no prior here, but like I said, I had no problem with the prior. And upon no less than 48 hours to the public. But that's all. It says nothing about there has to be a written memorandum. That's nowhere in the chart. That's nowhere throughout the chart. Doesn't have to be a written memorandum. So when 3 council members call for a meeting, you guys, we can't call each other because that's sunshine violation. So that calling for a meeting means that an individual calls for a meeting and you have to have at least 2 other individuals, 3 in total, that agree to that meeting. Either the mayors by themselves or 3 council members can call for a special meeting. Nothing has to be written down. There doesn't have to be a memorandum. That is not true. All right? Just wanted to make that clear. So, but being that here, we do have 3 members of the council here right now. I say that we call for a special council meeting. Let's call for it, if you guys have your schedules open, on Wednesday. Let's call for it on Wednesday. Since we're having the Administration and Finance Wednesday, let's call for it on Wednesday. As a matter of fact, it could be the first meeting. We could call for it for 7 o'clock. And then we could have the Administration and Finance Committee right after that. That's my suggestion.
I believe the clerk has something to say.
Well, the first point is mute now because you're doing it. I was just gonna say to you that best practices is usually the one person calls the clerk and asks them to poll the council with time and dates for a special meeting, but along with the subject matter. So like I said, but now you guys are here.
Yeah, we're here. You know, I agree with that, Madam Clerk. I appreciate that. That's what I did the first time. That's what I attempted to do. It wasn't through you. That's what I attempted to do the first time, and it seemed like it caused a lot of confusion. So now that the 3 of us are here, I suggest that we reschedule the special council meeting that was supposed to be for tonight. We reschedule it, and we reschedule that special council meeting for Wednesday. Now, as far as what it was about, you guys, that was another thing that was a misconception. We got emails talking about we were supposed to vote on the contract, and it's not supposed to be voted on until October 27th. Nobody said anything about voting on the contract. We weren't going to vote on the contract. If you guys looked at the resolution, or if anybody looked at the resolution, what we were voting on was giving the, I'll pull it up. No better way than to pull it up. Let's go ahead and pull it up. One second. All right. This, share the screen. Can you guys see that? You guys see it pretty good, or? All right, so this was the resolution, you guys. The resolution is not to vote on, is not to vote on the contract. The resolution is to authorize the village manager to retain an outside attorney in order to negotiate with the incoming attorney, with Greenspoon Marder and Joe Geller. That's what the resolution is about, you guys. It's not about approving a contract. It's about starting the process. And the reason why I wanted to do it like this and start this process, you guys, is because I wanted to allow us to do things the correct way, out in the open, saying, hey, is everybody okay with using this attorney to negotiate with Attorney Geller? Is everybody okay with the payment? Let's vote on it. That was the reason why I wanted to have a special council meeting, to do that out in the open. Because if we remember, for Attorney Powell's contract, which we continue to hear that it was negotiated with counsel and with the law firm, but every time somebody would ask to name the law firm or name the counsel, we would get crickets. So I want to do it the right way. Bring it out in the open. Let's have an open discussion about it. Let's vote about it. Let's even talk about the payments. Let's vote about that. That's it. There was no vote on the contract itself. It was getting the process started. That's it. So, for all the misinformation that's out there, that's pretty much it. So, the council meeting, the special council meeting, which I suggest we should do it Wednesday. We should do it before the administration and finance meeting. We should do that based on the resolution that we were going to do it on that tonight, that I had to cancel that meeting, which is having that resolution, which is to start the process to hire outside counsel to negotiate with the incoming Attorney Geller, or Attorney Geller, I should say. And that's what I suggest that the special council meeting should be on the same night, Wednesday, since we're doing this administration finance meeting. Councilperson Erbaum, even Councilperson Perrella, what say you? Is Wednesday good? Is it bad? Any suggestions?
Wednesday is good.
Oh, Wednesday is good for me, yes.
I'll also send out an email, village clerk, to you about this with the date and the suggestions, so you can reach out to Mayor Cabillos, Councilperson Roman. Appreciate that. Thank you very much. All right, so 3, special meeting, call in the sunshine. There we go. We don't have to write any memorandums or anything like that, or signatures or anything like that. That's not in the charter. We do not have to do that. Okay. All right. Anybody else with anything to add? Manager Alou, Madam Clerk, Councilperson Erbaum, Councilperson Perrella. Good. All right. All right, that was the business, you guys. So good and welfare. Is there anybody from the audience who wants to come on and say anything at all? All right, first of all, here we go. Let's bring over Warner Dreyer. Let's bring over Warner Dreyer first.
Good evening. Can you guys hear me?
We can barely speak a little bit more. Let me see.
Yes, good evening. Can you guys hear me now? Is that better? Great. Yes, my name is Werner Dreyer, 486 Northeast 87th Street. So there was a keyword that was touched upon, which was keyword is best practices, right? So in regards to the whole email blast, right? And the email and best practices for this, I want to understand, as far as just to avoid all this miscommunications, right? Like what we're going through right now. When do we expect this email blast process to take place again, right? Because obviously I understand we're going through a transition, everybody's coming up to speed, but there needs to be some, definitely some dates that we need to establish when those email blasts are going to start happening again, so we can start receiving all the information. I
And
know.
so within the next day or two, Councilperson Vera, I definitely wanted to first get the email blast out to for the presentation that Mr. Jean just did, since we already had a town hall. People, individuals might want to go back and watch it. So I definitely want to get that out right away. So hopefully, tomorrow or the next day. And as far as everything else, that I will, try to do my best to make sure it's email blasted. But we have to first, for that stuff, we have to first get the, get the word of the others, and we have to advertise it also. Advertise the meeting for the things for the meeting that we're talking about next week. But as far as the email blast for the presentation from Mr. Jean, since we just had the town hall, I think that we should try to get that out as much as possible, so that, people can go ahead and start to break it down. Yes, Mr. Dre.
I totally understand that, but I do understand as well that you rely on the administration, right? On to have that commitment to you, right? So I've heard you say that, but I would definitely appreciate from the administration to hear that commitment as far as when the residents can expect to receive that email blast, right? That we were used to receiving. So
Exactly. I'm sorry if I may, what I understand that Mr. Dreyer is saying that usually we will get it on Fridays before the Tuesday meeting. So we just I guess he just wants to make sure that the interim clerk knows that that's the way we used to conduct business over here. Like the email blast on Friday, at least Friday before the meeting on Tuesday, and yeah, for every meeting we have, not just for town halls but for everything.
Okay. Yeah, one meeting I did get it out. The issue has been trying to get all of the emails because there were two different residence lists. The former clerk had one list and the mayor has another list, and trying to merge the two and making sure that I catch everybody, because I received emails back saying, I no longer want this email, different stuff. So I'm trying to get it all focused, but as soon you can, I'll get it out on that Friday. And if you don't receive it on that Friday, send me an email letting me know that you weren't on that list. And I'll make sure you get the information.
okay, just no, thank you very much for clarifying that, Madam Clerk. Just for the first blast that you stated, I never received it, right? The distribution that you sent. Okay. I guess yeah. So I'll send you an email, right? I think I have your email address, but it would be great as well. Perhaps we can, at least the residents, somehow the website can be updated with your email address, right? And with your contact info.
Yes,
so,
I received an email today for that also. So I'm going to make sure that is done. Okay,
great. So appreciate it.
Thank you very much, Mr. Dre. I really appreciate it. Thank you very much, Madam Clerk, for clarifying. Thank you very much for that. Let's bring over Sandra Valencia, please.
Sandra Valencia, 8633 Northeast Miami Court. I just wanted to make a quick comment, and I commend you, Vice Mayor Omar Nickerson, for trying to just bring a little bit more of transparency in regards to contracting and making it available to the public. So I really appreciate this. This is, a couple of years ago when all this started with the former contract for the attorney. It was very, very confusing, and there's still so many questions that have never been answered. And so I really commend you for bringing this opportunity for all of us residents being able to be exposed to the truth. So I really appreciate that, because that's something that I would love for our city to move forward with in terms of transparency and truth. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Valencia. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Anybody else for good and welfare? Anybody else for good and welfare? All right, seeing none. Before I ask for a motion to adjourn, Councilperson Erbaum, you're the only one here that can make the motion. Before I ask for a motion to adjourn, anybody else have anything to say at all? Councilperson Perrella, Madam Clerk, Madam Manager, any last words? Or ask for a motion to adjourn? No, we're good. All right. Can I have a motion to adjourn? Oh, Councilperson Perrella, yes.
Well, just to make it clear, I don't know whether, because it goes back to the time, when we decided to appoint a new law firm to the village. Right? Okay.
Yeah, so we can discuss that better on, we can discuss that on Wednesday.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah. All right. All right. Thank you very much. Appreciate that, Councilperson Perrella. All right, you guys. Anything else from anybody else?
I'll just say everyone should be registered to vote, and I make a motion to adjourn.
Thank you very much. Motion made by Councilperson Erbaum. I will second that motion. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed say nay. Hearing none. You guys go enjoy the debate, the Administration and Finance meeting, the Special Administration and Finance Committee meeting for Tuesday, September 29, 2020 is adjourned at 9:08 p.m. That was my gavel because I don't have a real one. You guys take care. Thank you very much for everything. I appreciate you guys. Have a great night, you guys. Be safe. Take care. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.